Thank you everyone for being with us. I hope you can all hear me. My name is Cleel Rose and I have the honor of being the Rabbi at Congregation Eitz Chaim. I wanted to say this. I've had the privilege of officiating at other Rutman family life cycle events, and those were really freilach. Those were simchas. And now I have the unusual experience of officiating at something that's quite painful and sad, the loss of Cookie. I'm told that in order to be a person's rabbi, you have to be there for all facets of life. So I hope you'll accept me as your rabbi for now, and I thank you for allowing me, the whole family, for allowing me to be part of this tribute to your mother. I'm going to begin by reciting from the words of the Psalms, and this is Psalm 23. I'll first chant it in Hebrew and then offer an English translation. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi lo echzar, bino desheyar bitzeni al mei menuchot yinaleini, nafshi yeshovev yancheni b'maglei tzedek leman shemo. Gama ki yeilech begeitz al mavet lo yirara ki ata imadi shivtecha umishantecha himei nachamuni taroch lefanai shulchan neged tzorerai dishanta v'shemen roshi kosi revaya ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai v'shavti bebeit Adonai lehorech yamim. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. We're gathered here today to pay our tribute of affection and respect to a dear friend and loved one, to Rose Lillian Rutman. For those of you who knew her well, she was Cookie. I'm hoping somebody will tell me the reason behind that. So Sandra has indicated she will. And Cookie was born in Winnipeg on January 19th, 1931. She left this world on June 13th, which corresponds to the 14th of Sivan. Cookie was preceded in death by her husband, Albert, her parents, Isidore and Clara, her brothers, Joe, his wife Lola, Jack, and Helen, Sam and Bev, and Len, as well as her sister-in-laws, Bernice, who's married to Chilo, and Cecile, who's married to Sam. I want to offer our sincere condolences to her family, to her children, Ray and Linda, to Sandra and Jason, and to Fred, to grandchildren, Leah and her husband Dan, to Evan and Kristen, to Shale and Zane, and to her, I don't know what you call them in Yiddish, great Eneklach, her great-grandchildren, Arya, Noah, Zachary, Jake, and Kira. And at this time, I'd like to call on Fred, Sandra, and Leah, not all at the same time, and Zane to speak. So we'll start with Fred, or Sandra. You get to work it out.
Thank you, Rabbi. Upon reflection, reading this eulogy off a phone may not have been the best idea. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming, including those on the live stream and those who have made that big effort to come from out of town. This is really difficult to do. This was not a good idea. Our mother, Rose Lillian Rutman, passed away at the Simkin, as the rabbi said, on the 13th, which is the 14th of Sivan. And I might have to just wing this. She was known to most as Cookie. I don't know why. Cousin Fred said he didn't know why. Sandra apparently has the secret to this mystery that she'll reveal later. Coincidentally, it's Dad's Shiva tomorrow night, so they'll be together again. Yeah, sorry, you're inside. Told you this wasn't a good idea. Mom is the last surviving member of her generation of parents, predeceased, of course, by her parents and my father, her brothers and their sister-in-laws, Auntie B and Auntie Ceci, Uncle Kylo and Uncle Sam, who she considered like her own natural siblings. Skipping ahead. Mom was a big proponent of supporting the community. She instilled a lot of values in us. I can't speak for Ray and Sandra, but for me, she always stressed the importance of contributing to community. And she just didn't say it, she did it herself. She was a longtime member of the board at Beth Israel. She was the union rep for her collective at the Seven Oaks School Division. She, with Auntie B and Auntie Ceci, were, the mainstays of the local ORT chapter, raising money for unfortunate kids. She always stressed that we do community work, and to get involved politically, although she never said who we should support, who we should vote for, who we should work for. She always had an open house for everybody. I remember once when I was in my MBA program, we had a bunch of exchange students from Brazil, and I realized they were going to be alone over reading week, and she said, invite them for Shabbat dinner. These people have never met a Jew. Excuse me. And I think 8 of them came over. They never knew what hit them. But, excuse me, please don't. Yeah. So our house is always open. We were taught not to be judgmental. And although admittedly I was a slow learner sometimes, I have a section here about Mom, how she wanted to be remembered in her own words. She wanted to be remembered as a good person, as a good wife, as a good Baba, etc., etc., etc. And I think everybody does remember her that way. So Mom and Dad gave a donation to, what was it, Ray? Gave? Yeah. Manitoba Jewish Foundation, and they gave her a little interview, and she talked about how she wanted to be remembered in her own words, and if I can find that. Well, I'll get to it, I guess. She wasn't overly observant, but Mom had a strong belief in God and was very knowledgeable about Torah. She was thrilled that I started learning more about Yiddishkeit and was regularly davening and learning Torah. When I would call or come home and try to share something that I had learned that I thought she would find particularly interesting, her response was often, "Oh yeah, I knew that already." I often forgot that her grandfather, Moses Elazar, taught Cheder in their kitchen, so Hebrew and Torah, and she sat in on the classes. They would open a cupboard door to make a little mechitza, or a separation between her and the boys. So she had a really solid Jewish education. She was very thrilled that Leah wanted her Shabbos candlesticks and was keeping a kosher home. She loved that Shael and Zane were super campers and then became counselors at Camp Kadima and wore their Judaism proudly. She was actually proud of all the grandkids, nieces, and nephews. She didn't know how to be anything but. She had an endless capacity for love, and she used it liberally. Nothing was more important to Mom than being a good mother, Baba, and sister, sister-in-law, cousin, friend, etc. There is a tradition in Judaism that just before a baby is born, God sends an angel to the parents. And the angel will tell the parents the most appropriate Hebrew name for the child who's about to be born that will represent the core midot, or values, that'll be most important to that child. Dad's Hebrew name is Avraham Moshe, and I have 2 names, Shmuel or Shlomo, I'm not sure which is what. Mom's name is Rochelea Bas Chaya. Those are 2 pretty heavy-duty biblical names of our forefathers, representing hopefully the best of the best, which is I think what they got. We have a second tradition in Judaism that on Erev Shabbos we sing a song called Eshet Chayil, which translates to Woman of Valor. This is allegedly the eulogy that Avraham gave to his wife Sarah when she passed. And it talks about the virtues of this amazing woman and how it is the woman in the house who generally keeps the family running and does all the things in the background that few people ever know about, and keeps the family together and moving forward. I believe Mom was a true Esha Chayil and a great role model for all of us. So when she asked how she'd like to be remembered, I'll quote from the little article she had from that Jewish Foundation tribute. I hope to be remembered as a loving wife, mother, Baba, and sister and friend. Sorry, sun shouldn't have come out right now. Basically everything that I tried to describe, she wants. She was very proud of Dad, who, despite being in terrible pain from his rheumatoid arthritis most of his life, always was optimistic. She hopes that we will all have fruitful lives, and she's thrilled that we've all become good people, contributors to our community, and she is very inspired by her Judaism, and she hopes that we all have lives of prosperous lives with good health and peace, and that community contributes to the growth of our Jewish community and to the state of Israel, and that we all have peace. I'm going to try to thank some people right now, even though I can't see my list anymore. So first I'd like to thank the pallbearers. So if I miss anybody, please stand up. Ari Zapertsky, John Waldman, Zane Brown, Albert Yanofsky, Arthur Chapman, and Avi Waldman. Did I miss anyone? Thank you all. A huge thank you to Mom's caregivers at Simkin, especially Edna and Merlin. I hope they're here. The two of you made an amazing difference in Mom's quality of life. And we thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Ray and Sandra, who did the majority of the heavy lifting, caring for Mom and Dad, and their financials and all their arrangements. You guys are superheroes. And of course I'd like to thank Rabbi Rose, who has a long history with Ray's family back in the Edmonton days, and he did some wedding for somebody and, you know, a couple other things. So thank you for your kindness and your direction, and helping provide a beautiful service befitting our mother. Sadly, we don't have a home in Winnipeg anymore to have a Shiva, so there will be no Winnipeg Shiva. One last thank you is to cousins David and Irene, who are providing a private family meal for us tonight and making sure we have a minyan to daven. Otherwise that wouldn't happen. So thank you very much, and thank you all for coming and for your kindness and support, and may you all be blessed, and we should know only Simchas. Next. Which way is this? I think I'm okay.
Hi, everybody. So people who knew my mom as a small child would constantly say to her, "You are so delicious. I will eat your cheeks like a cookie." And that is the story I got from cousin Bettina, who told me that Aunt Et, so Baba Clara's sister, said that to her. So that, as far as I know, is the secret to that beginning and the origin of my mom forever being known as Cookie. That being said, to Dad, she was always Cookie Rose Lillian. Mom was a very smart woman with a very cutting sense of humor. She suffered no fools, except for those of us whom she loved by blood. Her love of reading left her in the last 10 years, but previously she was a voracious reader, as Leah knows. She used to give her the Clan Bear series books, which she loved. And she was always on top of the news and politics. Shy from the time she was young, Mom never wanted to impose on anyone. However, she was never shy about ensuring that she told my kids and Ray's how much she loved them. Mom would snuggle all of you when you were small, read to you and rejoice in your successes, be sad for your hard times. While her shyness sometimes restrained her, she exploded with love for you and hoped for all of you to do great things to make the world a better place. And she was not disappointed. Mom loved music. She loved musicals, and she and I used to sing songs from shows like Annie Get Your Gun and just about every other Broadway show together, just goofing around. It was quite a shock to me, however, when she asked me to join her at the opera, which we enjoyed doing for many years after. And now I'm actually very grateful because I really enjoy and appreciate opera. And I have to thank Dad for not going with her because that's how I got to go. Mom's in-laws, nieces, nephews, a lot of who are here, great nieces, nephews, kids, etc. Oh my God, she loved all of you. When you visited, it made her very happy. Mom also loved her friends, her girlfriends, her mahjong friends. She valued your friendship dearly. Most people loved my mom, but we kids knew a bit of a defiant, crusty side of Mom. Mom could be a bit cutting, a bit acrid, and just plain stubborn. When Mom moved into Simkin, we were a bit nervous that she might put people off just a bit with her forthrightness of opinion. When reports came in that she was sweet, we thought, perhaps they are drugging her. But no, she settled in, and I think she was quite relieved to not have to take care of herself anymore. In the end, the best way that we kids could take care of Mom was by hiring Edna and Merlin, who were so loving and kind. Edna used to bring Mom hamburgers with fries, and who knew she would end up loving Filipino cooking? We all tried to keep Mom in a very steady supply of chocolate, right, ladies? To my mom, chocolate was the thing that solved all problems, and that's a lesson that I take with me. So everyone, when you eat chocolate, think of cookie. I know I will. Love you, Mom. Thanks for the kisses.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Zane. I'm one of the Baba Cookie's grandchildren. And Shale, the other one, who many of you might remember, can't be here, so I have just something that he wanted to say, and then a little note from me. Can we raise this? That's okay. I'll lean over. Alright, so the first one is from Shale. I wasn't able to be there with you all today, but today and for the rest of my life, I'll be keeping Baba in my heart. She was a wonderful grandmother, and we always loved going over and spending time with her when we were in town. She once caught me eating 3 boxes of Wacky Mac by myself, and could only chuckle at me as I writhed in discomfort. She would attentively listen to me as I went on long, detailed descriptions of what math-related thing I was working on at the time, and say, "Wow, great job. I'm so proud of you, sweetheart." Even though I probably made no sense, she was always our biggest fan, and that's how I'll remember her. Hope there's lots of Maj to play where you are. Miss you and love you so much, Baba. This one's from me. This speech felt really strange for me to give. Over the years, you've given me so many great memories, and there's been a lot to look back on in the past couple of days. Some of my favorite moments were just sitting on the floor of your apartment as you gave me more and more jelly beans and we just talked about life. I remember when I was a teenager and Zeta was sick, I called you both to say how much you meant to me and how much I loved you, since I realized that I might not have forever with you. As time went on, you kept on pushing through to a point where when you did pass, I felt like you'd actually always be there. So despite the fact that I saw it coming a long time, this still somehow came as a big surprise. I'm happy to know that now you'll be at peace and that you can join Zeta up there. You raised the most amazing daughter who has been the best mother that Shale and I could ever have asked for. And we're forever grateful to you for helping make her what she is today. You can rest easy now. Shale, Dad, and I will take care of her here. I'll keep trying to make you proud. Thanks for being such an awesome Baba. Love you tons.
Hi all, for those of you who don't know me, I am Leah. I am the daughter of Ray and Linda, and my brother Evan couldn't be here today, and so I am speaking on behalf of both of us. First, for my brother, he wanted me to share a couple memories. His love of her cottage cheese and noodles, which I think is just a Winnipeg thing. Her secret stash of Smarties in Baba and Zeta's house, and that she was such a trooper, and that he loved her so much. I know he wishes he could be here today. So, I have so many memories of Baba Cookie. I remember playing at her house when I was younger, when she would make delicious chicken soup. I remember wearing the incredible sweaters she would knit for me. Little known fact, Baba was an incredible knitter, and I dare anyone to fit as many pom-poms as that woman could on a kid-sized sweater. Maybe Auntie B, I don't know. I remember hanging at her house when I was older, where we would talk about books and the news and play cards. And I would sneak opportunities to read the Regency romance novels that she had hid in one of the back rooms. I see Auntie Sandra nodding. I remember as I got older, the trips she took to see me. No matter where I decided to live, while she could travel, Baba made the time to get there. She was in Edmonton for my bat mitzvah, Montreal for my university graduation, and even when travel became much more difficult, flew to New York for my law school graduation. A special memory I will always have is of her and Zeta braving 3 flights of rickety New York stairs to have Shabbat dinner in my cramped New York apartment with all my law school friends, who loved them. And as I had my own kids, the memories evolved. I have memories of Baba holding each of my kids as babies. I have memories of Baba in the Simpkins Center in a wheelchair, still playing hide and seek with them. And I have so many memories of Baba singing her special song to my daughter, the Bushel and a Peck song. And during COVID, I have sadder memories, but they're of her on FaceTime, when even when it was too hard for her to formulate words, she would still see my kids and play with them, sticking out her tongue, making faces, and blowing kisses. As I think about all of those memories, a few things really stand out. Her kindness, her incredible intelligence, and her sense of humor. I think you've heard a lot about all of that already today. So, I had heard a different story where Baba got her name from. I would trust Auntie Sandra, but someone once told me, I don't even know who, that Baba Cookie was called Cookie because she was so sweet. And that made sense to me because she really was incredibly kind. In all my memories of her, I remember her as kind and compassionate. I never heard her speak a bad word about someone. She never judged others. She never expressed jealousy. I genuinely can't think of anyone else I can say that about. And I think there can be no better testament to someone's life than being remembered as truly kind. It makes me so proud to be her granddaughter. My Baba also had a fantastic sense of humor. She was witty and loved to give those sly zingers. And it's not surprising because she was incredibly intelligent. This sounds silly, but the first time I noticed it was when we would play cards, and I was just amazed at how quickly she could add numbers. But obviously, that wasn't the only way her intelligence shone through. My Baba was an incredible critical thinker, and sometimes I've wondered what she would have done with her life and her career if she'd been born during a different time. But looking back today at who my Baba was, I can't imagine there's anything better than who she became. A wonderful wife, an incredible mother who raised 3 amazing kids, a great grandmother, a grandmother who had the best chicken soup recipe, loved her family hard, and treated the entire world kindly. Baba, we love you.
Thank you all so much for your thoughtful and kind words. I wanted to, before we continue with the remaining rituals involved in this service, I wanted to say something about Cookie's other names, not the names in English, but her Hebrew names. And if her Hebrew name is Rachel Leah, Bat Yisrael V'Chaya. And I wanted to speak specifically about those 2 names. I think she's named, I don't know who in the family she's named after, but her namesakes are the biblical matriarchs, 2 of the 4 major matriarchs in our tradition. And women don't get enough credit in our tradition because primarily it's been men for the longest time who have been interpreting Torah. But thank God that more of is coming from women, which is fabulous. And so I want to say the following, that when you think about Rachel and Leah, Rachel and Leah, you often think about them as opposing, their sisters, and in opposition. And the reality is we never really think about the relationship that they held together. And so I wanted to just say this. From Leah and Rachel, this is from Dr. Nora Gold, who's a writer and a thinker. From Leah and Rachel, I think we learn about extraordinary compassion, kindness, and loyalty. We learn that there's a bond so profound between sisters that it can supersede even their relationships with men. And we also learn inspiringly, I think, that it is within our power to transcend envy and rivalry and to truly love each other. May all of us learn from Rachel and Leah to find this power within ourselves so that we can love and respect all of our many sisters and brothers. So I think in some ways what I want to offer is that Cookie held both of those characters together and all of their various facets, but most importantly, when they came together, that's what she exhibited, that firmness and kindness, and those things don't necessarily need to be polar opposites. Sometimes they dwell together. May her memory continue to be a blessing. Tehei nafshat tzura b'tzora chaim. And may her soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. We're going to continue with, as I mentioned, these rituals. I'm going to head over here. That's a good idea, Sandra. You're very pragmatic. Did you get that from your mom? And others can join at the same time. So I think if it's all right, with the permission of the family, we'll pause here again. Anybody who'd like to place additional earth on the casket after we're done is more than welcome to do so. I'm going to ask for everyone's attention as I chant the El Malei Rachmim in the memorial prayer, and that'll be followed by the mourner's Kaddish. El Malei Rachamim Eshocheim B'amromim Hamtzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Shechina B'malot Kedoshim Utorim K'zohar Ki Mazhirim Et Nishmat Rachalei Bat Yisrael V'chaya Shelcha Le'olama B'gan Eden Tehi Menuchata Ana balarachamim hastireha besetek nafecha leolamim utzror b'tzror chaim et nishmata Adonai hu nachlata v'tanuach b'shalom hamishkava v'nomar amen. Mourner's Kaddish. So Ray, Sandra, and Fred, I want to just offer these words of condolence and comfort to you each, along with all of your family members. We say, Hamakom Yinachem Etchem B'toch Shar Avlei Tzion Yerushalayim. May God continue to offer you comfort amongst all the mourners, Zion, Jerusalem, and I'll add, and throughout the world. We appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this tribute to your mom. And as you mentioned before, Fred, may we only know simchas and be together for that purpose. But I also just want to say to Cookie that based on what I've seen of her family, Yiddishkeit is going to be strengthened as a result of her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and all of the other aspects of her wonderful legacy will continue to reside in them and be lived out. Her values will be lived out by her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Thank you, everyone. If you want to place additional earth on the casket, you're free to do so. And please be well. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to take care of it. And we do me a favor, let's just send evidence to the world. And think about that. You know, there was a whole crew of people that got to know when that happened. And is that been so close with Kyle? Yeah.